I run by the name PraisethePixel on Twitch. I'm a hobby streamer, partnered since 2020 of April. My first Souls game was actually Dark Souls 1 back in 2011. I picked the game up on a complete whim. I just like walked into a store and I saw the special edition of Dark Souls 1 and it just looked cool. Like I looked at the box and I thought, man, this game could work for me. So I picked it up and I loved it. I really got hooked on it. And yeah, I have not got off the train since. Its uniqueness of like this whole multiplayer aspect, like to this day, games don't really do this kind of like PvP component where a random guy can just barge into your game and potentially mess up your progress, and that works vice versa. Like whenever I got invaded, I had this sense of dread in like a fun way. I didn't know how it's gonna end. Like, you know, it's like a real player is always unpredictable. So that really drew me in, that random factor, and just how many different like other builds you could run into, and you know, the gestures and all that. I really caught my attention from the beginning. I was a big fan of Covenants in DS3. The thing is, I always thought DS3 had too many Covenants, but Elden Ring not having them really bummed me out, because I was a big fan of the Spirit of the Church in DS3, the watchdogs in the forest. Like, there were all these cool Covenants, the Mound Makers. The Covenant name is Pixelation. It's actually my Discord name as well. I think it has a nice ring to it. It was actually a viewer suggestion many years ago when I set up my Discord. Somebody said, hey, why not call it the Pixelation? And I really thought it was a cool idea. It stuck with me. And that was the first name that came to me with the Covenant.
The one big stipulation that you have for your Covenant is the pointy hats. Where did the pointy hats inspiration come from?
Yeah, the whole that cone hat, pointy hat like idea for the Covenant. I was a really big fan of the Gold Ardeo in Bloodborne. I thought the Gold Ardeo was like by far the coolest piece of helm in Bloodborne. And ever since, like, I had this fascination in Souls games with like these weird like cone-shaped helms, and I love building my characters around it, fashion-wise. Like Elden Ring has that on Casa. I think that's like the closest thing that we have to a cone head. And I thought it could be like a fun little theme. And it's also like I thought it could be also like an easy way for people to like join, and they could like also join other Covenants if they wanted. Because I feel like a lot of people want to like be a part of other Covenants as well. So I wanted to make it easy for them. I would love to keep this Covenant like long term, because since Elden Ring doesn't have Covenants, at least not at the moment, we don't know what the DLC might bring, right? I do think this game could use some like player-made Covenants. I would definitely love to keep this thing going if there is like enough interest, if people like the idea. Because there are so many things we could do within like a player-made Covenant, like viewer runs, Stunter Tongue runs. I think it has potential long-term.
So where can people find your content?
I stream at twitch.tv with the same name, PraisethePixel.